Hello, welcome to Hit the Bricks. Today we are working on the second level of the Lego City table. If you didn't see the first video where I explain why it's curved, and what we're doing with the angles and the 3 levels, I'll put a link up on top so you can get caught up. Today though, it's all about the second level. I put some of these base plates, just kind of laid them on here a little bit and did some preliminary cutting of the wood just to get a visualization of where we're going with this. Just kind of helped me out. Same thing with the corner here. It's just kind of a mock-up so I can see, but that is the height of the second level. Now, the wood that I cut over here, I did leave some gaps. If you see this triangle back here and some other gaps around, what I'm thinking with that is some storage area that will actually go down to the bottom level. And by storage, I mean minifig storage as far as coal and rocks and other supplies that are going to come in from the harbor here. So I just thought it would be interesting to leave some gaps. When we build up the third level, I'm going to do the same thing, but that's to leave access down to the dock area and to leave a little bit of natural light coming through. I thought that might be an interesting touch. Remember this boat here, this is actually the bottom of the ocean. It's going to be raised up here. So today I'm going to finish cutting this over here. I'm going to raise this up so it's the same level. And then I'm going to continue this all the way around here to the western docks, again in the other video. Now this area right here was going to come all the way across here with the board. However, I think I'm going to leave this as a gap so we can have some bridges that go over and then have this water that's, remember here, going to come around, and this will be a river that goes that way. Depending on what it looks like when I cut it all out, that's what I'm thinking now. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of this out and then we'll take a look at it after it's done. Okay, so I've got the wood cut now. I've put these supports up here. They're just sitting on there right now. I'll screw them down at a different point of time. But we're gonna put the boards on this section here first, and then we'll go around, we're gonna do the whole second level on everything. But I think we're really gonna get an idea what it's gonna look like. I'll throw some base plates on there and just some mock-up buildings and such so we can just see, kind of get a good idea of what it's gonna look like when it's actually all done. So this is pretty exciting, so we're gonna go ahead and put all that on there right now. Okay, so we've got the boards on top of the supports here, not fastened down, but it gives us a good idea of what this is gonna look like. Just put that building on there that someday I will finish again. Just giving an example of those type of buildings are what's gonna be on this side, which is the Western Railroad Yard and dock. This will be the smaller as far as buildings and how busy it is compared to the Eastern Railroad Yards, which will be by the city, which will have a whole different vibe to it with cranes and just a lot of activity. Now this one, I did build up this little wall here. This is just really just kind of show what that's gonna look like. It will actually drop down further, and then you have the water here and the boats can come in and dock to these different businesses, unload the goods, and take them to the city, or the city will be bringing them in here and then they can distribute it throughout the rest of the land. As you can see, it's fairly large. We've got 6 of the larger plates on here and then kind of a scattering of different ones over there. Here's a subway line underneath. So that's where there's gonna be access here for the minifigs to go down into the subway, and then we'll be able to see a little bit of the station. Then it will disappear underneath, and it will go around the other side underneath some either just landscape of some sort until it gets back over to the actual main city, and then we'll see the other subway station there where the minifigs can get off. So this is the only level that's gonna be on this side. So this is as high up as this area is gonna be. When we go around to the rest of the city, then we're gonna actually grow another level, which I will do in the next update. But for right now, this is as high as this side gets. We're gonna go ahead in this video yet and do all the rest of it so you can see what this, which I'm calling kind of the freight train level, is gonna look like throughout the whole city. So let's continue on. Okay, moving over to the eastern side, this is gonna be the rail yard and dock that's gonna be kind of below the main city. This is all water here. So we're gonna put these pieces of wood on top and we're gonna get a good idea how large this area is gonna be. If you notice in back there's a little extra area. That is gonna be like engine sheds and some extra rail yard, just kind of just overflow for some rolling stock and such that I have. So that's gonna be able to go back there and kind of stage into, and then the city here, and then we're gonna have the docks for the ships and such right over here. Okay, we've got the boards on top here for the second level of this area. This is the Eastern Railroad docks. I did put some of the base plates on here and just a little bit of the side, just so we can kind of see what that looks like. Just a rail car and some railroad tracks, just to get the vibe of what it's gonna be. None of this is permanent by any means, but we do have all the second level on this section done, including that railroad staging area that I showed you in back. So taking a look at this a little bit closer here, I put this water, this is kind of the effect that I want to go with, though it won't be this solid blue plates. But I want to have the water kind of coming in and out a little bit and then having the boats on it. Now this is going to be dropped down lower because there's going to be much larger boats that are coming in on the eastern side here to unload all the cargo and such. And I do want to have a crane possibly on tracks that go back and forth to pick up that cargo. So this is gonna be quite a bit lower, but this is the effect that I'm looking at. Again, being able to see some of the water activities underneath. And it will have something to this effect as far as a border, but probably just a little bit more detailed. Down below here, I did put these plates just to kind of show that this would probably be the color. I'll paint the whole edge here around. Probably I'm thinking this color, this tan, so I can use base plates and different other plates just to kind of fill this in, and that light tan and dark tan to give it the bottom of the ocean type feel. And then of course there'd be water up on top here, clear pieces, blue pieces, and gonna try to get a nice effect that you get some of the light coming through. Honestly, I'm not sure how that's gonna go yet, but I'll probably try a few different things. I'll make sure I make a video of it because it could be interesting as far as like trial and error. Again, on top of here is going to be the city. So this whole area here that's not covered is gonna be where the city will be, and the train yard will actually go underneath it. You'll still be able to see it. It's just gonna have pillars for support, but you'll be able to see all the trains come through there. This area will be open though, like I said, because we're gonna have a crane and such, so we're gonna need some height. Also, when this is built up, which we're doing the next video, also gonna have some buildings that I wanna put that kind of connect from the bottom or the second level here up to the third. And originally, I wasn't planning this, but now I'm getting the feel that this could be a much larger city. So much larger, meaning like much taller buildings and such. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of low level buildings, probably 3 stories and up. Just because now this feels more metropolitan. It feels like a larger bustling city that's gonna be kind of looming down on the rest of it, which should have a really good effect. So as you can see, I've already got this already set up here on the side. I do have the top layer, which will be the city layer up there, just because I needed that for visualizing what I'm gonna do over in this particular corner. I believe it will extend out a little bit further, maybe more like right where this is here, the second level. Again, this is where the freight train level is, and this is the city level. Now here I talked about earlier, this is going to be a river or canal that will go into the main part of the water by the harbor. And this is going to have a bridge, at least for the train, maybe a pedestrian bridge or an automotive bridge for the city. Not quite sure yet. I am going to put just a temporary piece in here for the trains to run through, just so I can test run everything and I mean, who doesn't want to run their trains, right? So I'm just gonna put something like that across there so the track can go. And then I do want a Lego built bridge later on in this section. So that's this little section here. Let's go ahead and look at the last area of the table, which is kind of a transitional type area from western to eastern dock. Okay, here we are at the last section that we're gonna look at, the last section of the table. I'll be honest, this has been an area that I've been struggling with just because I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with it yet. The other areas, the western and eastern docks and the city, I know exactly what I want to do with it. I got that clear plan. This section, I can see being a few different things. I've thought of having maybe some mining going on here. You'd see it underneath the freight train level. We've got the subway that's going underneath there, which we could maybe look at every once in a while. I also thought about just having this like a gully where you'd have a lot of trees and rocks and such going on. But no matter what goes here, right now I would like this to be a transition from the dock area in the west, which isn't too busy, but going into the city. So rather than having this too much city and too much industrial commercial, I kind of want this to be a little reprieve from both of the busier sides. So probably more nature, maybe some parks or something to that effect. So that's what I'm thinking of going with right now. So what I've done is I just made this board straight across, left this pretty open, and just did some kind of hodgepodge type pieces over here just so I can get a good flow of the train actually going. Here again, the subway is going to go underneath. One thing I've also noticed too is that once again, the city over there is going to be larger, especially with those larger buildings that I'm thinking of doing out. It's going to kind of, just like I said, loom over here, and it's going to be a very big presence. So I'm not sure how much bulk I really want to put here, how much buildings and such, because I feel like this needs to be more open just because you have so much coming from the other end. So I think my plan is to really work on both dock areas and kind of let this be for a little bit. We know what it's going to be. Right now it's just going to be the second level and then the ground level here. So I don't think I need to rush on this. I'm going to work on the other areas and kind of see how this feels after I have those done. Okay, so it's time to wrap it up for this video. Hope you enjoyed the second level going on the table. I think it really gives us a good idea of what we're in store for here. If you liked the video, hit like. If you want to see more of this, like the third level that's coming up, then hit subscribe and bell notification, because that's what we're going to be doing in the next city update. Until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.